I want to talk today about something that I think a lot of us carry quietly. It is the feeling that you are behind, that everyone else is further along, that you should have had this figured out by now, that the detours that you took, the pivots that you made, the wrong turns that happened along the way, the what in the world was happening in my life moment, they were all mistakes. And I want to push back on that today. And I'm not going to do it with motivational quotes, but with actual life example. But first, let me name the lie that we believe. The lie is that there is some kind of timeline that you're supposed to be on, that at a specific age, you should have had accomplished certain thing. You should have had the business figured out. You should have had a certain amount of money or making a certain amount of money. You should have had an established career. The lie that your life was not supposed to look the way that it looks now. And if you are not on the timeline, something must be wrong with you. Everybody got the memo except you. You made a mistake. You wasted time and you are behind. I want to ask you something. Who decided what the timeline was in the first place? Who decided that by a certain age, that by 30 years old, you should have had arrived somewhere specific? Because I've been looking for that person for a very long time, and I have never found the person who set up that timeline. But what I have found is a lot of women measuring themselves against a timeline that absolutely nobody handed them officially. But somehow that timeline got installed in our mind anyways, by culture, by comparison, by watching everyone else, and then assuming that they are on a schedule. And then for whatever reason, you are not. Here's what I know. There is no such thing as being behind, especially when you are doing it at your own timing. The only timeline that exists is the one that your life is actually on. And everything that happened, every pivot that you take, every setback that you thought it was, every moment that felt like failure, it was part of that journey. It was part of the timeline. Now, let me tell you about mine, because I think specifically it is what makes this real rather than just giving you another inspiring speech. I had a full scholarship to medical school, and I walked away from it. One day, just like that. At the time, that felt like the most irrational decision that I could have ever made in my life. My family certainly thought so. And I chose tech instead. Before most homes had internet at the time, before anyone in my world could see where that decision was going. Was it a detour? Absolutely. Was it a mistake? I don't think it was even close. But I made a decision to build my life in America against my family wishes. Every person I loved, they told me it was a bad idea. It was a mistake. You're going to fail. And they told me that for 2 whole years. They even dispatched people to tell me that. But I figured it out largely alone. 2 years of disapproval, 2 years of doubt, 2 years of wondering, maybe they were right and maybe I was wrong. Was it a detour? Yes, it was a detour from the path that they had planned for me. Was it a mistake? Everything I have built, it started from that decision. I started this YouTube channel later than I thought I should have. In fact, I thought that I was way late in the game. I thought I was way late in the game because I spent years watching other people build from scratch. They build their audiences, they build their platforms, they build their channels. They have hundreds of thousands of followers. And I was telling myself, this is too late. I should have started when that person started. I missed the window. Everyone else is already ahead. Everyone else is getting a monthly paycheck. But I started anyways. I started anyways at 50 years old, showing up every single day, imperfect, on purpose. Detour? Was it a detour? You can call it that, but every year I spent living the story before I started telling it, it made the story worth telling. I had been at my highest weight and I hid for almost a year. I did not want to show up on camera. I did not want to take pictures. I didn't even want to socialize. I did not want anyone to see me until I looked like the version of myself that I thought that I was supposed to look like. And then I decided my purpose was bigger than that. My purpose was bigger than my insecurity, and I showed up anyway. I'm still losing weight. I am still on the journey. And I am still not at the goal that I set for myself, that even my doctors set for me. But I'm showing up anyway. Because waiting until I was ready, it was costing me more than showing up imperfectly ever would. I have paid for coaching that did not deliver. I have invested in courses that I never finished. I have built things that flopped. They did not work. It was a failure. I have pivoted more than once. Every single one of those things at the time, they felt like a mistake. They felt like I was further behind. From where I stand today, every single one of them, it was my education. And here's what I want you to understand. The detours, they were not interruptions to the path. They were the path. Every wrong turn that you take, every mistake, every pivot, every wrong choice that you thought that you made, every reason that felt like failure, it was building something in you that the straight path could never have built. The woman who walked away from medical school is the same woman who can look at a broken business system and diagnose it clearly. The woman who figured out America alone for 2 years is the same woman who can sit today with a client in the messy middle of their lunch and not panic. The woman who hid for almost a year because she could not stand looking at that big person that gained a lot of weight. She did not like what she saw. She didn't even want to shop for clothes. She is the same woman who can tell another woman, show up anyway. Your purpose is bigger than your insecurity. None of what you went through, none of the mistake, it was wasted. All of it, it was a setup to prepare you. And I want to say something about time, because we talk about time a lot. And also because I think that we misunderstood what being on your own timeline, it actually means. It does not mean that you can take as long as you want and everything is just going to work out. No, it means that the moment that you decide to show up as the person who already has what you are working toward, time doesn't matter anymore. It becomes irrelevant. Actually, I heard that today from Vasavi. And I really love that she said that. It's not the confidence you will have when the business is working. It's the confidence that you choose to have right now. And it's not the peace that you will feel when everything is figured out, when things are going exactly the way you want. It's the peace that you choose right now. And it's definitely not the version of yourself who has arrived, who made it, who's the perfect weight that she wanted to be. It is the version of yourself who is still building, who is still working on it right now. And that decision to show up as that person, as her now, it obliterates the timeline. It collapses the timeline, not because the work disappears, but because you stop waiting to become her and you start being her now, in the process of building where you should be right now, right here, exactly here, learning, and sometimes unlearning certain things, growing, maturing, releasing what no longer serves you. And maybe, just maybe, you will start to see that everything that looked like a setback, it was actually the setup. Last week, I turned 51 years old. I walked away from a full scholarship in medical school. I stayed in America when everybody in my family told me not to. I started a YouTube channel at 50 years old. I showed up on camera while still losing weight. I paid for coaching that did not deliver. I pivoted my business more than once. And I feel that I am the most myself that I have ever been. Not despite of all of that, but because of it. Every single thing that I went through, the detours, the heartbreaks, the betrayals, the disappointment, the what in the world is going on in my life right now, all of it, it shaped me. All of it shaped me into the person who can do what I do now. And I do not say that as a way to brush off any of what you've been through. I say it as someone who wasted a lot of years believing that she was behind, believing that at my age I should have been making a certain amount of money. And I finally understood that she was exactly on time. Everything I thought was a mistake, it was actually my education, and yours will be too. All right. I'm Webley, and if this resonated with you, I want you to hit subscribe and drop a comment below and tell me, what detour in your life are you starting to see it was actually the setup? I want to read every single one of your comments, and with that, I will see you in the next video.